I got two hands, I got my mouth, I know how to earn money.
Kind of woke up early and went to bed again and got up now, which is a little later than normal from me. Okay. At the moment, I'm not going to be on camera, so bear with it. I actually don't have a whole lot of shit to talk about this morning, to be honest with you. Except, oh God, it's like deja vu, you know. Last night was between old Jimbo and Ricky. That's why sometimes it's good to be a voyeur on here, because I think that's more fun, actually. Everybody's fighting with each other and all that. Is everybody really that frustrated? I mean, I'm being honest to ask that question. I don't know. It just seems that a lot of people don't know what the hell they're doing. It seems to be like a lot of people are so damn frustrated when they really don't have to be. Who's got bigger muscles, or I don't know. You know, everybody has their own opinion about something, but sometimes, actually a lot of the times, these people basically don't have a clue about just about anything, really. I mean, zero clue about anything. They don't know what they're doing, what they want to do, where they want to go, where they want to live, or I don't know, kind of like just spinning their wheels. Oh, we got a viewer. Yeah, you know what I used to say all the time, build it and they shall come. Yeah, I'm kind of winging it this morning, actually. I didn't go to the little event last night. I didn't go. Going to go tonight. I think it's still going on tonight. All Souls event. There was an event in another country in All Souls, and it was really good. Gilda showed it to me on Facebook, and they were all lined up on the street. You swear it was from a movie. I got to sneeze. It was so well done. They were standing at a roadside with the best costumes and makeup. That was really unique. Well, that was nasty. Okay. We had another straggler come in, but then they decided to disappear. Because I'm not on camera. People get curious. They want to see, well, if I don't see somebody on camera, then I don't want to look at you. Oh, jeez. You don't look at me anyway, really. Okay. Yeah, I'm just winging it this morning. I'm just winging it. I think I can think of talking about this morning is the little battle between Ricky and Jim. Oh, I don't want to get into that. I really don't want to get into that. I mean, I really don't want to get into that. But it is funny. It is funny. It's more funny when you're not involved in it, you know. When you're just watching somebody else who's getting pretty intense with somebody else. Yeah, they're going to kick their ass. They're going to do this. They're going to do that. Oy vey. Seriously. Look at that. Even my two viewers disappeared. They're not used to me being on in the morning here. Like old times. Yeah, God, it's not like I've been off forever. Shit, what was it, 3 months or so? I don't know. Felt like forever. Actually, to some people on here, seemed like forever. Frank is truly gone. He meant it this time. He must be dead. Something must have happened to him. or he got arrested, he's in jail, or he's deported to another country, or something like that. Well, none of the above, I'm glad to say. All right, I'll keep this going for a little bit while I prepare my cup of tea, my traditional cup of tea here in the morning. Oy vey, you just want to see something on camera, don't you? I know. I understand. I'm not always feeling like I want to be on camera. I mean, I got these swarthy good looks, but, nevertheless, I'm not vain. Okay, well, I gotta prepare my morning ritual tea. There we go. Now that's exciting. Probably compared to a lot of stuff going on YouTube or stuff that's not going on. I may decide to go on camera. Hey, Ginger. Hello, sweetie. Hello. Good morning, sweetheart. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning to you, baby. Oh, I'm gonna clean your eye. And she gets these irritations in her eye. What? No, you're not going in the bedroom. No, we just cleaned that. I don't want no dog hair in the bedroom. Yeah. She's the older one. She's 7 years old. And if her eye looks funky, it's because she's got this, what you call hyperpigmentation around her eye. But her eye gets a lot of, sometimes you get pus in it. I'm trying to find this particular antibiotic for dogs, not for people, for her eye. But what I normally use is just a regular eye drop for humans, but it's one that could be used on dogs, so not totally recommended. I just don't have what I need, because I said it's hard to get anything out here. My own veterinarian, he'd have to order it somehow, and it's just, Philippines. You can't always get what you want. You can try so hard, but then you'll find you probably won't get what you need. That's pretty much the truth. And nothing but the truth. Okay. Now we get all this shit off the table. Towel, it's a towel. Got our Westinghouse working. No, this has not been working for a year. Finally found somebody who knew what the hell he was doing. This was very expensive. We got it at the mall several years back. This thing will blow you away. American brand, Westinghouse, okay? And this puppy is pretty powerful. Yeah, it's got a very heavy stand of a base on there, incredibly heavy. And instead of this stupid fan up here, which lost its power, I don't know, it just doesn't create much of a breeze. But I'm glad I got the Westinghouse going, because that makes a difference. That'll cool you off. And we don't want to have a air conditioner in the dining room. That's a little bit overkill. We got an air conditioner in the living room where we spend a lot of time, and I got an air conditioner in my bedroom, and we use that as needed. Oh God, I'm kind of multitasking. I'm at my stove here, and it's filthy. Grease. Nobody bothers to clean it off but me. I start something and I wind up having to finish it. It's pretty nasty. The grease gets on. We've had this stove and oven, for quite a long time, actually. I don't want to show you this thing. It's gross. And I really don't actually feel like cleaning this, to be honest with you, right now. Pretty short time ago, I just got up, and I'm not in the mood. And speaking of the stove, to remind myself I have to get more propane, because we's about out. we's about out. But there you go, too. A lot of people don't talk about those kind of expenses. What you can live on, what you can't live on. Well, you're going to have propane more likely if you're living out here. And they're over 1,000, according to where you live, they're over 1,000 or more for a replacement bottle. It might last a couple of months, according. Part of me, you know me, I'm always multitasking. Can't help it. I don't stay still. I had to put my Adidas sweatpants on because, man, I'm just constantly getting bit. I think we get bit, both of us, every single day. If it ain't a mosquito, it's a freaking ant. That's a fact, son. Living in the Philippines, they say it's more fun, the Philippines. I guess everybody has their idea of what fun is, which you may define as fun if you like getting bit by ants every day and mosquitoes and whatnot. You're not going to avoid that. And the funny thing is, I don't really like putting that mosquito repellent on me, DEET or whatever. It's all a poison. We're already poisoned enough from every damn thing we eat and come across. But maybe it's worthwhile just not to get bit. It's no fun to me. It's not that we have a lot of mosquitoes here. We don't have that much. But they exist. And somehow they get in the house. You leave the door open. They'll get in. They'll find a way to get in. You leave the door open. Okay, the stove looks a little bit better, but it's not perfect. I don't even want to show you that. Okay. My famous tea. Can't do a show without making my tea here. Old times at Richmond High. Old times at Richmond High. Roll Tide! Roll Tide! That's such a ridiculous statement. I don't know, something to do with Alabama and football or something. Roll Tide! Fucking Roll Tide. What is that fucking supposed to mean? Roll Tide. Fuck, give me a break. Roll Tide. Reminds me of somebody. Okay. What are we going to put in here? Well, we've been changing things up a little bit here. The turmeric is for sure. We're going to put that puppy in there. Turmeric and black pepper is for sure. To charge up the turmeric. Is it coming out? Is it coming? And you have to put a dab of ginger this time, though. Oh, that's enough. That's enough. And what did they say? I was just reading something. Lemon, ginger. There's a new formula, actually, that really help you with stones and okay, we got the ginger, the turmeric, the black pepper. Oh, we got to add a tiny bit of olive oil. And boy, I'm out. Oh my goodness. Oh, and not much left. Now that stuff is expensive, by the way. So everybody, when they're doing all their calculations, how much does it take to live in the Philippines? Oh, they never calculate anything in there. We have so many side expenses, it's not even funny. Even a rich man like me, which are, rich. Don't tell me the whole time I've had my audio off. Wouldn't surprise me. I did. God, I had a lot to say too. That this is rated X, what you see in here, what I just put in this tea. This is one potent tea on here. I'm sorry, how long was that audio off on here? And why I put it off, I'm not sure. I like, tea bags are not healthy, actually. The bags that the tea come in is not made of anything that really should be in a healthy diet. We won't get into the chemistry of that, but it's not good. But what I put in that tea is like, it should be X-rated. I mean, it seriously should be X-rated. That's what I do. That's my routine in the morning. That's my routine. You like to learn things about me, I'm telling you. I do things a little differently than some people. But we're not shoving testosterone. We're not shoving steroids and shit in my body. Although I could probably use a little testosterone. We probably all could. When you age, things just get really lovely for you. Yeah. Remember, you're not getting youthful. You're not getting youthful. You're deteriorating. It's exactly as you get older. And that's why you gotta defy all this shit. Don't let Mother Nature completely destroy you. I think there's only so much you can do, but it doesn't mean that you could allow Mother Nature to win the whole battle. That's what I'm saying, really. Okay? Okay. Now, here we go. I'm going to wipe down any lemon juice because the entourage of ants will take over. In fact, I got a bite on my ankle. You have no idea. Maybe you make a joke about it, and I do too, but ants are a bastard. Dealing with fucking ants out here. They'll come in from nowhere. Put something on the floor and boom, you got an army of these fuckers. And we have different type of ants around here. We got weaver ants, which I believe is the ants we have in the trees, and they bite like a mofo. Two different, the red ants, we got the fire ants and weaver. They're similar, but let me see. One of them will actually sting you and bite you. And one of them will just bite you. And something interesting, something interesting about that. I want to tell you something about this. See, Frank, you're losing that, man. No, I was just going to present some facts. You know what these weaver ants do? And fire ants do that too. They live up in a tree. They make these nests out of leaves. I mean, quite amazing how they even use some of their saliva and whatnot to make these leaves stick together and all that stuff. But listen to this, Don't it depend. If you go under the tree, where there's I got a big tree, and a lot of them live in there, they immediately see you as a threat. And give it a while, and listen to this. This is amazing. This is a fact. I'm not making this shit up. I want you to listen. You'll learn something. A scout will drop from the tree. Hold on, I want to grab something here. Maybe I'll go out and show you, but if you hold on a minute. Okay, I'm going to go out to this tree and I want to kind of demonstrate something in a way. Okay. These trees on the side of the house are big trees. Two of them. They're loaded with ants. And I'll be able to show you what these ants look like here. They're always crawling around somewhere on the gate or somewhere or over here. If they're a little awakened for the day. Okay, so basically, this is their territory, okay? This is their territory. And sometimes, if they feel threatened, they have a scout that'll drop from the tree to attack you and bite you. They'll release some pheromones. And what that does, the pheromones give direction of where you are, where other ants who want to defend their territory, which is the tree and the nest they have in there. Pretty incredible, huh? To allow them to come down and attack you too. And that is one way you can try to stop them if you put a gluey thing around the base of the tree, where if they want to get back up in the tree, they're not going to make it. They're going to get stuck in the gluey thing. Or the ones that are coming down the tree will get stuck in there. But believe me when I tell you, there's hundreds of thousands of these things. Same thing in this tree here. Same thing. I remember when a worker went up there to remove some branches. Man, he was getting just stung left and right. Hey, yeah, hello. I'm sorry. Yeah. They're amazing. And that's why I talk about them, because they're absolutely amazing. I remember when they were cutting down some branches. There was all branches all over the ground here, right? Oh, that disturbed them. And let me tell you something. They went on the attack. All you had to do was stand around, and I was getting them crawling up my leg. Not a bunch of them, but every 20 seconds or something had an ant on me. Just absolutely incredible. I don't know how I got into the subject, but yeah, there's a lot of branches we got to clear out because of the wires and stuff here. We have to do that. Yeah, hello, MLSO. So these, and we pretty much figured these are weaver ants and mistake them as fire ants, but I think we got these tiny little fire ants around too. There's a number of species that we have. Yeah. Let's see. I was going to try to show you one here. Oh, they should be around everywhere. They're always crawling on this wall over here. Here's one here. Okay. You see this sucker? You see him? That's a weaver ant. And those bastards, man, they'll drop down on you like a kamikaze pilot from the tree, because they want to protect their queen. They want to protect their nesting area. They want to protect their territory. That's what they do. That's what they do. You're never really going to get rid of ants unless you had a big forest fire or something that killed off everything, but it's really hard to get rid of them. There's so many varieties of ants around here. It's incredible. Oh, okay, so you had your lesson on weaver ants, and there's fire ants, and we get confused which is which. There's tiny little ants that go around the sink, and I don't know what they are. Some of these tiny ones actually bite too. Right, Sasso? That's why you scratch sometimes, because some of these ants, you lay on some ants. Don't you, sweetie? The other one is worse. She's always scratching. You got, oh, I don't know, a lot of shit going on. Right? 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 She loves her daddy. Somebody does, no? Loves her daddy. And so does Ginger. Loves her daddy too, don't you? Don't you? Where's the cats? Oh, they don't like the cats, let me tell you, man. Where's the cats? You gonna play with Ginger? You gonna play with Ginger? Snortle, snortle. Okay, okay, okay. Now, these dogs are fantastic, man. Not only do I got a wonderful woman, but I got a couple of pets here that are just absolutely wonderful. Oh, you're all excited. Oh, you're all excited. Oh, oh, oh. They're excited. She's running. She's running. She gets excited when I give her some attention. Look at her go. Look at her go. Look at her go. Good. Get your exercise. That's the only exercise you get during the day. And I'm serious, too. Now, I'll tell you another thing that's funny. We got a chicken that's kind of roosting on the side of our house here. Be able to put a box there to get some eggs. Now, see that box over there? It's funny because this chicken, she'll put her head over. She'll put her head over. and look and see if anybody's around who wants to protect their eggs. And one time I surprised her around here. I went around the corner. She had her head up, and I don't know, must have startled her. And she was just clucking away, and she just flew out of there like there was no tomorrow. But it's funny the way she'll put her head out there to investigate. It's a box on top of the shelf is what it is. And she's roosting there all the time, I don't encourage it, but Gilda does. But, I mean, if it was up to her, we'd have a bona fide chicken coop going on here to have eggs and all that stuff. But I don't want to deal with that. And then these dogs don't like any critters on our property here because, we've seen them in action before between the cats and birds or chickens that come in the yard. And, they don't like them. Let's just put it that way. You guys are not very talkative. Look, we got 3-4 people in here. I guess you must be bored of me already. I think that's why I got off those 3-4 months, whatever. There's only so much you could take and absorb of me on here. And I understand. I totally understand. Because I'm not Ricky Drama here. I can talk about certain things, but I'm not going to dwell on a whole bit here. We could talk about certain YouTubers and what's going on if it's interesting enough. But, we're not going to go on the attack. We'll just put out some words of wisdom of our observation of what they're doing and kind of make it a lesson to people what not to do on YouTube and, what not to do. Call it a public service, if you will, because it's exactly what it is. Take it as that, don't take things too personally sometimes, You're going to get agita, as we say in New York at times. You're going to get agita. You're going to get agita. If you get all nerved up about something somebody said, you're going to get agita. I miss some of the typical town talk when I grew up in New York. You can't place that anywhere, Okay. I know, you're bored to death, so am I. I don't know why I even did a show this morning, except to about Jim and the battle going on between him and Ricky. Now, that's funny. That's funny. Who would win a battle? Jim, we're just talking frank. We're frankly speaking, which I do anyway. If those two battled, honestly, I don't know. Maybe I think Rick would get the best of it. Because Jim is all this. Look, the fact is that he ran away from some Filipinos, when they were having that little thing going on in where he lived, and they threw a bottle or something, and his kid got injured. And I remember him saying something about him tripping or something, fell over. Now, Jim tries to build up these muscles, but hey, Aloe back. Oh, God, man. He's the Jim's Asian Adventures. He's one of the biggest jokes on YouTube these days. Everybody's attacking him. And for good reason. Sometimes people attack you for no reason. I've been through that. But this guy is, you think you've seen arrogance on here? I'm sure you have. You think you've seen cockiness on here? You have. Nothing like this guy. He's about 62, about 6 foot. He likes to work out in the gym all the time. But his body features are kind of contorted, and with the age, he's got kind of combination muscle and saggy skin. And he has a wife in Mindanao, Dexo. You probably heard her name, Dexo. Things didn't work out because the guy's a chump, and he's abusive, and he's an alcoholic, and he's a binge drinker. And he's on testosterone and steroids for 20 years. 20 years, Aloe. 20 years. And anyway, he's really arrogant, and, adultery is officially committed because they're married, and she's got all the videos of him hanging around with this 16-year-old girl. Well, it looks like to me anyway. In Cambodia, Now, he went back to America to his parents' house. He's telling everybody he owns his big fancy house, when his parents actually wanted supporting his adult ass. If you want to really find somebody to target, this is a guy. Anyway, he's going on with his antics. He's putting down the Philippines left and right because he can't really go back in. And he's afraid to get attacked by these Filipino neighbors that he fucked up and whatever. He claims that he's going to beat everybody's ass. Now he's saying he's going to beat Ricky's ass. And, oh, and I used to teach this, and I have a degree in nutrition, and I used to teach boxing. It's just all so funny, Aloe. It's all so funny. The guy is delusional. I think these steroids or something got to his fucking brain, is what people are pretty much trying to determine, that maybe that's something to do with the long-term steroidal use. So he builds up this muscle, goes in the gym, but even his biceps look distorted because some tendons, he had ripped some tendons in the past. And if you look at the guy, he likes to walk around in no shirt. And one of the better things he did that was a big laugh. Imagine 3 in the morning, because he doesn't sleep well at night. He's out there, no shirt, in his underwear, okay? In his underwear. 3 o'clock in the morning on a Cambodia street, okay? Vlogging. So he's got his extension stick with his camera on there, and he's walking down the street. And I was saying, they're kind of conservative in that country. A lot of these Southeast Asian countries are kind of conservative, They probably think you're pretty wackadoodle, You're out 3 in the morning vlogging in your fucking underwear, okay? In his fucking underwear and no shirt. And he prides his physique. Oh, I can do this, I can do that, I can press this and all that. But the thing is about his physique, it doesn't look really well. Because although Jim is around 62 or something, he looks a hell of a lot older than that. Steroid usage and everything else hasn't done him any justice. That's why everybody laughs at him. Always trying to show his muscles, always trying to show his upper body. And he won't live or stay anywhere unless there's a gym nearby. It's a prerequisite. He likes to wear a lot of sporty clothes, like hats that have a name of a team, of some sort of sports team, or some shirt, because he wants to have this youthful look. So I don't know. I could say so many things about the guy. It would take a half hour more to explain this character, but it's called Jim's Asian Adventures. And he's trying to piss off his Filipino wife, says that he's filing for divorce. She actually photographed him in video. They were walking when he was in Mindanao. Excuse me. Of him being very abusive. He was drunk, and Jim gets drunk a lot. And he's one of those binge drinkers, Aloe. And so he was basically being very abusive of her on camera, and she was recording it. And he decides, well, no, she's the big problem, not me. She's the big problem. It's not me, and she's too jealous, and this and that, this and that. So now he's trying to take advantage of her so-called jealousy by constantly displaying his rent-a-girl, which I swear to God, I can make an opinion on it. She looks like she's 16, although he's saying that she's 30 years old. Well, we know about people renting women, don't we? And it's funny. It's funny. Maybe better than Monty Python, if you want to go back. So it's really interesting. Says that must be a total... No, it is Aloe. Let me tell you, it's a total train wreck. It's a total train wreck. So last night, Jim did a live, which he doesn't do much of. And because Ricky's always attacking Jim, right? So Jim was on there basically flexing his muscles, literally and figuratively, okay? And he was knocking Ricky. Oh, I'm going to make a trip next week to the Philippines. He ain't going to the Philippines. He's afraid to enter the Philippines because I don't know what Dexel, his wife, is doing if he reported the adultery and showing the videos of it. But also because he ran out on some court warrants because there was this trial going on with the local neighbors. He built this house. He was going to make it into a 3-story piggery. Does it get any better than this, Jim? Aloe, I meant. So anyway, he's scared of him. He says, I'm not scared of anybody. I could hold my camera and just use one arm and punch Ricky out or this or that. So that is a battle going on between Ricky and Jim. Roll Tide, eh? Roll Tide. Barry, Roll Tide. Oh, there's so many comedians on here. They don't mean to be, but they're funny than shit. Funny than shit. Even Barry behind bars is still funny. He makes these posts now and then, on a community page or whatever. Roll Tide, Roll Tide. He played an old video. We are wondering what he looks like. Did he lose a lot of weight or did he gain weight from inactivity from being incarcerated? I don't know. Be interesting to see. Total train wreck. Oh, he's a total train wreck. He's a total train wreck. Look, I mean, Ricky's a big guy. And if Ricky wanted to apply himself, but he's not. Difference is, I don't think Ricky could. He doesn't have the staying power of getting into a fight with somebody. But he's a big guy. He's a big guy. He's a big guy. Jim is more flash than cash, if you know what I mean. He builds up his muscles, but he's also a coward. He's also a coward. And he don't want to get into some situation. He don't want to get into a situation, nobody. But he sure blurts all this crap out that he's big and bad, and you don't want to mess with me. And Ricky's getting off on this, and everybody else is. And I hate to promote his channel, this guy Jim, but if you want comedy and you want to be entertained, you got to watch this guy. He is so self-centered, arrogant, and cocky. And we've had a number of cocky people on here, haven't we? One in particular that's in jail, but this guy is the icing on the cake. He's so arrogant. And when he's home in America, he likes to show off his parents' house, which is a really nice suburban house, very nice. And he tries to pull it off as his house when the fact is that we found out it's his parents' house. He don't own shit. And this grown-ass guy is basically living off his parents and what he makes on YouTube, okay? So another liar, another phony baloney, another fucking loser. Yeah, there you go. Painted a picture here. There's more to talk about on that. Aloe says, living at his parents' house at 62. That really puts the L in loser. Yeah, it does, Aloe. He is. It's fun to watch. I subscribe to him because I don't want to miss the show. But we have a new guy you have to watch now and then. He's called Tropical Martini. And if you want more laughs, well, I'm just helping you out here if you have another bored moment or something. You've been listening to my show, so you must be bored. Hey, I tell it like it is. I'm not the most exciting person in the world, but, we do our best. My own sort of humor. But this is a guy that moved to the Philippines, to Cebu, total newbie. It's been a little over 2 weeks now he's living here. But from day one, he was fucking up. He's got some kind of attention deficit disorder, hyperactivity. He will interrupt anybody he talks. His mouth runs quicker than Nico's mouth. And you know how fast Nico talks, right? He beats Nico. And he'll change topics right in the middle of the stream. And he's walking up to everybody, he's in their face, trying to be friendly, trying to make friends. And he overdoes it. He's trying to get everything done in 2 weeks. Now he's going to go to Bohol. He's on his way there now. Because he doesn't want to decide. He don't want to live in Cebu because although it's interesting, it's just too busy for him and the traffic and the pollution and all that. So he kind of puts his life totally out there, everything he does. And he's kind of overdoing it. And it's fun to watch. He's a quirky little guy. And he's just... he needs some kind of a medicine to calm him down. Like he needs to take a Valium. Oh, Jim, I didn't tell you either. On Jim. Now, Jim is also taking Valium to go to sleep. You don't realize how addictive that is. Believe me, I know because I take benzos. And I'll be the first to tell you, you don't want to take any of that shit. Because the first thing I'll tell you, with total honesty, is that shit does what it needs to do, but I will tell you something. It is addictive in a sense of horrible withdrawals. That's why most people stay on this shit, Aloe. Because the hell that you'll go through on withdrawals, hey, I'm 71, I'm sticking with the program. Because the hellacious withdrawals are supposed to be worse than heroin. Aloe the legend, yeah. It's supposed to be that bad. And I take 2 medicines. I saw Ricky's show and he showed his table of how many medicines he had on there. He had a whole table full of medicines. I don't know, a lot of these people are not really healthy. Mind and body and soul. I haven't even touched my tea. Let's see if it's cool enough to drink. Boy, that's a spicy meatball. That's a spicy meatball. Damn, that'll flush out my kidneys. And you should not take it more than 3 times a week. Me? Let me tell you why I take anything at all. It's the doctors that fucked you up is what it is. That's usually the case. I've always had, like many people, seems to be commonplace these days. I don't like to see that, but a lot of people get anxiety or they get depression. I used to get bouts of anxiety attacks. Not often. So I used to carry the alprazolam, which is Xanax, around just as an emergency because, if anybody knows what a true panic attack is, it's scary. You think you're having a heart attack. And it's a wonder drug. It's a wonder drug. Hey, look, you got diabetes or something, you got to take medicine for that. You got, angina or whatever you have, or diabetes, you got to take medicine. It's no different than this. You take what works for you or you don't take it, but it works like this, Aloe. So I was taking Lexapro. Okay, boy, it's a bitch when you get on it because your head feels like it's spinning and you get lightheaded and you get these brain zaps. Now, it's just a maintenance type of thing. I don't get anxiety attacks a lot. That's why I wanted to get off this shit, right? But I'm going to tell you something. I tried getting off it for 1 or 2 days or reducing the dosage, and I take the lowest dose there is. I don't overdose on anything. And I'm going to tell you, you get rebound anxiety, it hits you, you get these electrical brain zaps. I'm not kidding, Aloe. You get these brain zaps, man, brain zaps. And then if you continue to, because you got to get your brain back in order, because what you're doing is you're charging up like an artificial, GABA and everything else in your brain, and it's dependent on that medicine to produce it. Because the brain ain't producing it on its own anymore because you got a mother's little helper there. Okay, so you take that stuff, so your brain is saying, okay, this is where I'm going to get the the feel-good stuff, So you get off this shit. And I remember I reduced in half. You got to really, if you want to get off it, you got to wean. I remember I was out. Hey, man, I was just having a smoke outside one day. And all of a sudden, it was like a couple of days into reducing my dosage, right? All of a sudden, I started feeling spinning. I thought, what the fuck is happening, dude? So I start making my way. Hey, we'll demonstrate. I was out here. I'm trying to tell you, the stuff is bad. I'm not saying it's good. I'm not saying that at all. Believe me, I'm not saying. So I was out here. All right, just having a smoke, whatever. Then I started feeling funny. I said, oh, shit, I better get to Gil of it. I don't know what's going on. So I started making my way into the door, and I'm like, ugh. I'm working my way down the hallway, and my arms I'm trying to keep steady on here. By the time I reached my door, which was closed like this, but it's easily opened, all you got to just put your hand on it. And I go in the door, and I just fell flat down to the floor. Flat down to the floor. And I go, and I said, did I pass out? I said, no. And what did I say to myself? I said, am I on the floor? Yeah, I was on the floor. It's mean stuff. Look, I don't, look, I do not promote. And as far as the other shit, which is basically, call it what it is, generic name, whatever, alprazolam is actually Xanax. I used to carry that around just in case I'd ever have these so-called panic attacks. Okay, critical stuff. It's a miracle drug. I mean, seriously, I'll promote it on that sense. But that stuff there, I was taking it to help me sleep because I have a very busy mind, and it would calm down my mind at night because it was like a heavy traffic situation. You know, you got stuff going through your mind. And what it basically does, it lowers your respiratory system, which means your breathing is lower too. That's why it's really not a good medicine. But it allows you to go to sleep, but its efficacy really is only like 4 hours. So when it wears off after about 4 hours, your sleep might be interrupted, Aloe. And then you go back to bed, you manage to get sleep again. But it's scary shit. It's scary shit, man. Isn't that cause you were? Yeah, no, that happened to me too. No, I was dehydrated 2 times actually. That's why I promote people to really, really consider hydrating as often as you can. No, that was when I was in the mall and I was getting a haircut, and I was on the chair, getting a haircut, and things started to fade to black. I go, Gilda, I'm sorry, but I was in a bad area. Okay, over here. Sleep aids don't really work for me, and a lot of them are pretty bad. Hey, look, I figure out my age. I mean, you know, I got 1 foot on a banana peel and 1 foot in the grave when you start getting in your 70s. Let's face it, okay? I'm going to do what's tried and true with me, and I'm going to keep on doing it. Yeah. Let's see. Isn't that close you were? Okay. That happened to me too. They bring me to a clinic. Was dizzy for around an hour due to deer. You don't realize how much you're sweating. You don't have to see the sweat on your skin. You're sweating. Every time you breathe, believe it or not, when you breathe, you're getting rid of moisture. And a lot of people, they don't understand. People are dropping like flies. That's why what happens a lot in the heat. The humidity don't help. But let me tell you something. It is so fucking critical. They tell you to drink 3.5 liters a day. I can't drink 3.5 liters a day. That's absolutely ridiculous. No, but I'm always getting a cup of water here and there, add tea to it. Even some of your food is made with liquid, you know, that all adds up. And you got to do that, especially out here in the Philippines. You're stupid if you don't. You're stupid if you don't. Anyway, I've learned my lesson. And the only way you learn your lesson is to have something happen to you. But yeah, that's a challenge living in the tropics. It really is. And people don't understand how important hydration is. They have no farting clue. Yeah, sometimes I don't either, Aloe. But then again, you got these other guys online that says, just drink. If your body says it's thirsty, just drink when you're thirsty. But no, actually, you can't do that. You got to have a certain amount in you, really. Because you're sweating all the time. You just don't know it. You just don't realize how much fluid is leaving your body. Then the other thing is, too, I don't want to turn this into a medical show, but is also you're losing a lot of electrolytes and stuff like that, too. Every now and then I buy these little packets of stuff. I put it in the water. It has all the electrolytes in it. Or you buy some Pocari Sweat, which is good. If you're going to do activity, you drink that. Otherwise, you don't really need to. But, you know, you're drinking bottled water that has no minerals in it at all. Okay? No minerals whatsoever. Unless you're getting spring water. And guess what? When I lived in Hawaii, I had spring water. You know what it was from? It was from a spring off the highway. Off the highway. They had this place you could go and fill up your water bottles. Free. And they had a huge tank down the highway, like, Jesus Christ, I don't know, a couple 100,000 gallons with a pump. And got all the water spigots there and all that. People come there, fill up their water. And that was coming from underground, actually. So I'm sure there were minerals in there. So, you know, the shit you buy in a store, a basic bottle of water, don't have no minerals at all. Unless it says it has minerals. Okay, and what you're doing, and from the sweat, you're losing all these minerals, too. That's why you're going to black out. That's why you're going to have after a hangover. Well, I don't drink. There's one thing I don't do. Yeah, that's one thing I don't do. Yeah, so we buy Pocari Sweat, but you shouldn't take it when you don't need it, really. You don't want to overdo minerals either. But, you know, sometimes people will actually buy a mineral, a little tincture of the minerals. You could buy that in health food stores. But you need to have all these minerals in you, and people are lacking. they're lacking all these minerals. Anyway, that information and 30 pesos will get you on a trike. I'm just doing the best I can to spread my knowledge, and, you know, Popeye and people like that will make fun of it or whatever. But you got to admit, though, some of the information I've given out of my show is life saving, actually. And some of it is, from my own experience. Blacking out is no fun. Believe me, it's no fun blacking out. No fun whatsoever. Because you don't know what the hell is going on. You're trying to figure out, why did I get dizzy? Is it heart related? Scare, scare, right? Is it heart related? You don't know what the fuck is going on. And as you get older, you got to pay more attention to this shit. And if you don't, you're not really doing good for yourself. Yeah, we get these bottles of water that you see here. It's filtered and all that, but you don't even know if they really change their filters. You know the Philippines, Aloe. You know, they have filtration systems with charcoal and all that stuff. But when do they change the filters? You see, I'm sure you know a lot about the Philippines, and you know one thing. They want to save money. And filters are not cheap. They want the highest profit margin that they could possibly get on any product that they sell, Aloe. So they're not going to change the filters very often, so you don't know what you're getting. So basically, we have this. That's where we get the drinking water. And we go through a hell of a lot of it. You don't drink, I'm not talking about whiskey or scotch, but beer. I don't drink alcohol at all. The only alcohol that goes in my body is going to be this on my hands. And your skin absorbs that too, and it's not really good. I don't want to get into a complete health show, but since we were talking about that, I think half these people that you find on YouTube that are obese and all that stuff, they're like an accident waiting to happen. Nobody could predict your health, and even though, you take certain supplements and you're more mindful of some stuff than other people, it's not a guarantee. I've always said that on my show. I may promote certain supplements, I may promote certain things on here, but I know as a fact that you can't predict anything about your health, because anything could happen at any time when you least predict it. There could be something going on in your body that you're not aware of, because you feel good. You could have a bad pancreas in the beginning, and you may not feel anything. When that thing goes, you're going to feel it. You'll feel it. I know a guy who had pancreatic cancer or something, Bob, a guy over in Hawaii, in Kona area. Good guy, and he had this back pain. It was so bad. It's like when you're having a sciatica, or you're having a kidney stone that's really bad, like I had. And the pain, they say, so don't ever think that I don't never experience pain, because let me tell you something. I talk a lot about that kidney stone thing. It was a 9mm job. That was the worst pain other than sciatica I've ever felt. In fact, you ask any pregnant woman that's having a baby, or someone that's had a baby, and they said, if I had to choose childbirth over sciatica, they would choose that bowling ball coming out of a small spot. It's that bad. It's that bad. Yeah, survival rate for it's really bad. You see, that's the problem with that. By the time you know you have that, it's too late. What happened with Bob was, he left a message on his answering machine because he had a woman friend that was kind of a caretaker, always looking in on him. Because he was starting to age, but he was an active guy. And he's the one who lived in Kona, the other side of the island I was living on. So what happened with him was that he was feeling all this pain. He left a message, and I'm at this Kona Community Hospital. I thought he was joking around, because Bob was a jokester. Maybe he was doing something for me, I don't know. But then I called up. It was around, I forgot when, the Kona Hospital. And he did indeed. He was admitted. It was so bad. And what happened was, while he was on the CT scan, he had a massive heart attack and he died. Bob had no idea that was going to happen to him. He was having a regular day, and then all that pain came, and he was having periodical pain. Even when I visited him one time, I think he was having some problems, but while he was getting a CT scan, bam, he died on the table. Yeah, some serious shit, man. Yeah, no, the survival rate isn't very good. You never know. A lot of things you never know until, it happens. You could be feeling fine and something will just hit you. One of your organs goes. That's why drinking is one of the most horrible things you could do other than sugar. And you don't realize what drinking does, even one drink. I know a lot of people think, Frank, come on, man, you just exaggerate stuff too much. No, I don't actually. I'm pretty learned with certain things, and there's certain things I'm dumb shit, like being technical on the computer, things like that, editing, all that crap, codes, programs, this, that. I don't even know all the terminology. I'm dumb shit when it comes to shit like that, I admit it, but there's certain things, health aspects that I'm very learned about. And whether people take my advice or not, that's another thing. But I'll blurt it out anyway. If they want to listen, they listen. They want to take it home and utilize the information, that's fine. If they don't, they don't. But drinking is one of the worst things you can do. But one of the worst things, they said, if you want longevity, I'll give you one word. Remove sugar from your diet. Because that's the culprit. It's sugar. Longevity is not always based on your family genetics. That's only about 20%. But sugar in any form, is what creates inflammation throughout your body and organs, Aloe. It's that bad. Look at a bottle of Coke, and there's people, especially out here, they drink how many Cokes per day? And if they could burn off acid from a car's finish, I mean, just think of what it's doing to your system. Even one drink is killing your liver and other organs. One drink. No, same thing. And for those people that are taking artificial sweeteners, let me tell you the way the body works with this, okay? Yeah. Was that a fly? The hell? The body, even though it may not be real sugar that you're taking in your body, this is a good one, and you got to listen to this, folks. You might want stevia, you might take something else, right? Your body recognizes this as being sugar, even though it may not be. Sweetness, your brain gets a little bit confused. So your glucose levels will rise. Even though it's not sugar, it's recognizing this as being a sugar when it's not. So you're going to get the same effect as real sugar. And a lot of people don't notice. But sugar is your biggest culprit, ever. Now, I'm not saying, and I've said it on my show before, I'm not saying I have a sugarless diet. I don't eat a lot of sugar. Now, if something's around and I'm hungry, hey, every now and then I get an inclination to go buy some M&Ms with peanuts in it, put it in the freezer, make it nice and cold. I love them. Somebody comes in with a piece of cake, I'm tempted. Somebody comes in with some really good chocolate chip cookies or something. Or now and then I like to eat dark chocolate because it's one of the highest things in antioxidants. I'll have that. What the hell is that? What is that? There ain't no ant. What the fuck is that? Is that like a little wasp? I want you to look at this. It's flies. It's like some kind of a wasp thing. What is this? Damn thing that flew on my neck. Anyway. Bugs. You can't live without them. Ecologically, anyway. So, yeah. Anything that is going to give us sweet. Now, about fruits, you say, well, get it naturally. Well, that is a lot better for you, but it's still sugar. Okay, but it's not the same as like raw sugar, it's white sugar, refined sugar, and all that. You can't even have too many fruits. I know they say eat fruits and vegetables. Yeah, okay, fine. But you're also getting natural sugar, which still is a sugar if you have too much of that. You can't win, is what I'm trying to say. You can't win. Yeah. I'm surprised we only have 8 people in here. Or maybe it doesn't surprise me. I don't know. Try to put down this tea. I don't make a tea for flavor necessarily. It's what I put in here. And I should have added a little honey. That's another thing too. Honey is good for you, but too much honey is not good either. But if I added honey to this lemon and turmeric and black pepper and ginger and olive oil, that would have been better. I didn't think. I can still fill this up with a little bit of water and reheat it. Put a tiny bit of sugar. A tiny bit of honey You can't go wrong with a little bit of honey, but you don't want to have honey in your diet all the time. Yeah. I mean, I don't want to bore you with this shit. I got to talk about something, so I figured I'll talk about this. We kind of got into it. So as far as the medicines, for somebody my age, and there's people my age that have like 12, 15 different medications they're taking. I'm not, I don't have high blood pressure, and the definitive moment is going to come as soon as I get my AC1 back. The labs are closed because of the holiday, but I went for an AC1 test. I've done a urinalysis or something for my sugar, and it said negative. And what negative means, it doesn't mean that you're not it doesn't mean that you're not pre-diabetic. It just means that there's not enough glucose spiking, whatever, going on to indicate that you have a problem with your sugar. It'll say negative. But if you get an AC1 test, this will actually measure, believe it or not, the past 3 months of your body of the sugar to give a more accurate analysis of your glucose level. So I just had one done a couple of days ago, probably till Monday, till I won't get the report back. They sent it to me by email, so I don't have to go with it. I need a hard copy for my doctor anyway. And that'll say anything minus 5.17 and lower is good. Anything above that, you might be pre-diabetic. So you got to watch it, but I've never had a sugar problem. But then again, I haven't had it checked out for a long time either. So there you go on that. So you never know. You think you know, but you don't always know. So I had that checked out, had a urinalysis done too, because all this talk about the kidney stone I had, that was quite a serious thing going on with me. You don't realize it because I had infection in the kidney too. All because there was a fucking stone bigger than King Kong in my urethra. Just picture this. You got a straw, you're sipping your soda, whatever you drink, and you have a stone in there and it's blocking the passage of whatever the beverage is that you're drinking. So a couple of things happen. First of all, if you take a piss, you're going to get a backflow of urine that goes right back into your kidney. And let me tell you, dude, it hurts. It hurts. It blocks the flow of urine. And there's no choice, but the urine goes back into your kidney under pressure. And the kidney does not like it. And you'll feel it. I used to dread taking a leak. I'd have to hold my back. Oh, shit. Okay. Oh. Then you stop pissing. It's okay. So it blocks the urethra. That's where it got stuck, in the urethra. Okay? Now, what that also does is creates infection if it's in there, which I had an infection. That's because the infection I had. You follow me so far? Okay. All right. So I went for procedures. One was exploratory. They wanted to get the stone out, but it was too far up into the urethra to get it out. So that was a waste of time and money. So what they did afterwards, they put a stent in there. And that was horrible. I actually showed you what a stent looked like online. They put this fucking 12-inch long stent in there to kind of keep your urethra open all the way to the kidney. That's uncomfortable in itself. Jeez, I'm telling you, man. Don't say I haven't been through some shit. All right. So have the stent in there for a while, take some potassium citrate to reduce the stone, blah, blah, blah. You have another appointment, you just spent a ton of money for really nothing, for nothing. So you got to go in again, only this time they had to take invasive whatever measures. So it's called lithotripsy, and they got this machine, you lay on the table, they put like a water bag under you so the sound waves or whatever goes through it. Anyway, and you're on there for up to an hour. And what it does, it breaks up the stone into a powder. And then it could easily be removed when you take a piss. And some of it is not into a powder. I did pass a stone. It was a good size, but it wasn't the whole 9 millimeters. There was probably other particulates that came out. Okay, what happens after that, you ask? I know you did ask. Okay, so you got rid of the stone, right? Now you're like up to fucking 400,000 pesos later after 2 times going there in a private room. Okay, so what happens afterwards, sometimes you can get a stricture in your urethra, like a scarring, okay? And you have to go. Okay, you have to go back to remove. I didn't get to that. You have to go back to remove more money to remove the stent. Some people could do that by themselves, but I wouldn't recommend it. It's very painful. I had them kind of make me kind of goofy with some medicine, let them pull it out. Of course, you're going to piss blood like crazy after that's pulled out. Okay, so there's damage. There's got to be definitely some damage to the ureter. There has to be. There has to be. You get either a stricture or something. So your flow is not going to be the greatest in the world, but adequate. But what happens is if you got a stricture or scarring in there, you could be prone to getting urinary tract infections. So I found out that from a urine test a month back that I had some element of, bacterial floaters in there. It was hazy and whatnot. So I go to my doctor. He says, no, you're going to need to be put on this medicine. Another fucking antibiotic, and I hate antibiotics. Okay, so I took that for 10 days, and now he wanted me to come back and measure it again, see if there's any bacteria, if that particular antibiotic worked. I'm a little late on doing it, but I did go in for another urinalysis. I'm still waiting for it. Like I said, I did the AC1 test and the urinalysis. And if there's still bacteria in there, I'm going to need another antibiotic, a different type, because not all antibiotics get the bacteria that you may have. Yeah, it's some really nasty shit. Look, I remember I was having trouble. Me and Gilda went to Cebu in my room because I was going to see the doctor. I remember, holy shit, it just hit me. The stone just, the stones. It's the stones. You ever see the stones? Well, let me tell you something, man. I had one of these stone attacks in there, and I'm like almost ready to fall on the floor from pain. I'm getting dizzy and sweat's coming down my head, Al. I said, we got to go to emergency room now. I said, this is serious, Gilda. I was almost going to cry. Almost. I should have, but that wouldn't have helped. So right away we went there, and they were very accommodating. They gave me some morphine and whatever, and boy, that helped relieve it. I couldn't tell you the pain, man. I couldn't tell you the pain. I don't know what's worse, having sciatica or having that, but the stones are really horrible pain. Ask anyone who's had the stones, especially a big stone. So we went from there, and the story goes where I ended off. And so now I got to check it to see if the any more bacteria. We'll have to take another antibiotic. And, I hate antibiotics. Just like, chemotherapy or radiation, you got cancer or something. Yeah, you're maybe killing some of the cancer cells, but you're killing every damn good cell in your body. And it's the same thing with antibiotics, what it does. That's the same goddamn thing. You're killing off good bacteria, so you're going to have to get onto probiotics and shit like that. It's never ending. Yeah, it is some really nasty shit. You don't want to get... There's certain foods that cause all these oxalates. Spinach is loaded in oxalates. There's certain foods you could eat. Vitamin C. It's according to what kind of a stone you have. Was it calcium? Was it calcium related? There's different types. The most common is more of a calcium related, oxalates. And there's certain things I eat that do have oxalates, and vitamin C can be a problem. But that's why you have to drink a bottle of water, because you need to get your kidney flushed out, okay? Or take things like citrates in pill form, or you could take like what I just did here, where you got lemon. Lemon works over time and other stuff. It will help to clean your kidney out. You may think you'll never get a kidney stone. You may think, Gallo, that you'll never get a problem with your kidney, but excuse the expression, you're kidding yourself. It just happens, okay? You don't expect it. That's what it's all about. I had it once before when I was living in Seattle. Never had it again until I lived in the Philippines. Never had it again. But it was just as bad back then, but the millimeter on the stone size was very small when I had it back then. I drove myself to Northwest Hospital, which is about, 6 miles or more, not too bad, from where I was living. Went there the wee hours of the morning and called my daughter up. I said, man, I'm in pain. I don't know what's going on with me, my back. I can't sit or get in any position. I'm going to drive myself to the hospital. You want to drive? I said, no, I'll make it there. I'm going to drive it there. I'm just letting you know what's going on, and that was pretty bad. Kidney stones can be deadly if large ones. It certainly could. It was a serious matter, man. And that's why I was talking about it a lot, because I don't want to see anybody else go through that. No matter who you are, whether you like me or not, I wouldn't see anybody in pain like that. Yeah, that's one of the worst things other than getting burns. But even if you got terrible burns, it may not initially be a little pain, but when your nerves are damaged by the fire, you may not be feeling pain. Even in a fire, if you're burned bad enough, you may not feel anything. But with kidney stones, buddy, you're going to feel it. And if you think you don't have any kidney stones building up, I suggest to everybody at the sound of my voice to go in and have an ultrasound at least done. For your kidneys, the whole area there, your bladder, your kidneys, urethra, all that area, okay? See a urologist or just order a test anyway. Just for the hell of it, amuse yourself. Go and get it done, because I'm going to tell you, man, you don't want to have that. Yeah, it can be deadly. It absolutely could. 9 millimeters, there's some people who've had 25 millimeters. Can you imagine that? That's a total fucking block off. Think about that. It's, kidney stones are not made for pussies, man. Let me tell you that. So don't ever think that I've never experienced pain in my life. I've experienced all kinds of pain. Emotional pain, physical pain. I've done it all. I know what pain is. I'd rather get punched in the face and pain from that, which might damage my beautiful face, but I'd rather have that than have a kidney stone again. So I try the best I can to do certain things to eliminate it. You can take occasionally some potassium citrates, the citrates that will help break down, because that's what they told me to take while I was under the process of the kidney stone crap and all that. They gave me some pills for potassium citrate. I don't know, I didn't like how I felt on it. I didn't continue it. But something is lemon water, real lemon, citrates, that's what you want to do. You don't have to listen to me. You don't have to buy this story. But let me tell you, when it does happen, and it can be quite unexpected when it happens, as it happened to me, you'll know what's going on. If your lower back is paining you on one side, that's your particular kidney on that side that it's happening with. Or you may feel it on both sides. You got urethras. Urethra, what are you going to call it? Urethra Franklin, or whatever you want to call it. Urethra, whatever you want to call it. You get a clog in that puppy. And I had it in my kidney. There was a small one in my kidney, and there's one big one there. Okay. Yeah, they can cause permanent damage. I might for like it, but last time I went for a test, everything looked copacetic on an ultrasound. But that doesn't bring out everything, an ultrasound. It gives you a good idea. That's why I'm going to go for another ultrasound in the near future to have that done. You got to do your own maintenance, or else, you're signing your own death warrant. You want to live a little longer, then you got to take care of some of the things going on in your body, or preventative things. Yeah, you should talk, Frank. I mean, you smoke. You're right. That doesn't help with plaque in your body. That doesn't help it. Okay, I know that. It's an addiction. It's an addiction. Okay. Everybody has some fucking addiction, whether you smoke or drink or whatever. Whether you like to jerk off 10 times a day. Which is supposed to be great for your prostate, by the way. Why do I need to do that when I got a woman? But they say it's healthy for your prostate. And what amazes me is that boy, we get into topics here, let me tell you. That's why you enjoy my show. They say that guys that do that a lot have a healthier prostate. But, it's going to, I don't know, isn't it going to interfere with your libido? And the other thing is, too, and boy, I'm graphic. That's why I put it for, not made for kids. I have a disclaimer, If you're jerking off all the time and you got that firmness of your hand, when you go to have sex with your lady, she's not going to have that tight of a fucking pussy that's going to make you ejaculate. And I'm sure you all know that, perhaps. Or maybe you didn't know that. You're now learning why maybe you can't ejaculate and come while you're having intercourse with your lovely lady. It's because it's not tight enough like your fucking firm grip of your fucking hand. It's chicken choker. There we go. You ready? Yeah. Uric acid test for kidney stones. My mom had stones for years, and after they tested, stabilized it, another factor was gout, high uric acid. Yeah, yeah. So when you get a urinalysis, you can see if there's uric acid in there and all that. I suggest everybody to do this because I'm not kidding around. That pain was horrific, man. I wouldn't wish it on my worst enemy on here. I would not wish it on the biggest troll on here. That's how bad it is. For me not to wish it on some troll, you know, whether they're free or incarcerated, I wouldn't wish it on them. That's how bad it is, okay? And I'm being serious, man. I'm being serious. I'm not fucking around here. You think you're in good health. Oh, we're almost done with this. And by the way, I don't suggest tea bags. You know, get a little strainer thing. Get one of those tea holders. I gotta sneeze. Damn. Oh, because you're really not. It's the best way because you don't want to use these bags because even what they make these bags of is bad. There's everything bad. What isn't bad for you? Just tell me what isn't bad for you. The uric acid. That's why I don't eat spinach. It's too high in oxalates. I do take vitamin C every day. I'm not stopping that. I'm not stopping that. I just as hope and pray. If I was religious, I'd be on my knees saying, please, Lord, please, Lord. Please, Lord, I don't want another kidney stone. Because I can't afford to go back and forth to the hospital to have these. You know, I'm going to tell you, what you didn't know either, that even the public hospitals, you think they're free? No, 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 no. They get specialists from hospitals like Changhua and all that to come there. They get specialists that come over there, and you're going to pay for that. It's not free. You might be paying a little less in a public hospital than a private hospital like Changhua or doctors, Sibu doctors, or any one of these institutions. But you're still going to pay. They're still going to want money from you. That's why they say, if you don't have a health insurance, okay, just go to Vicente, whatever, de Soto. It may only cost 50 pesos to register, but no, I'm not saying that they don't charge you. Even I was wondering about that, and I found out you're still going to be in bad shape financially if you go even to that hospital. Because you have to have a procedure, heart, whatever the hell it is. You're going to pay through your nose. Yes, you are. Yes, you are. It's not free. Oh, sure, they take care of foreigners too, you know. But that's not the problem. The problem is that a lot of people think the services are free there in a public hospital. No, it's not free. You will pay. You pay, you pay. Ask Ricky. You pay, you pay. And these public hospitals, it's not gratis. It's not libre. You have to pay. And sometimes, like with all these hospitals, you're going to have to put a promissory note in. You got real estate? Well, I'll tell you what, when a situation comes up like that, let me tell you something. You are going to do what you need to do. Because otherwise, you're going to be left to die. To die. That's just the way it is in the Philippines. But if you want to get under a health program, they're all rip-offs. That's why, try to have some money in the bank for an emergency. But these health insurance, especially older you are, the premium is going to be much higher. And what if you stay healthy and you don't need any services for a hospital? You're paying X amount of money per month that could be used for food, for this, for that. But if you really have to, you got your Medicare, just go to Guam if you have to. You don't have to go all the way to America. Guam has some pretty good doctors there too. Or you can go to America, either way. But either way, you're going to need a place to stay while you're out there, right? So you can't win no matter what. You got money for lodging because you don't know how long you're going to be there. There's a lot of considerations you have to make, a whole lot. It's not everything just works really smoothly. Let's see. Okay, so hope you learned something on this show. And I like talking about it and kind of reviewing stuff myself to remind myself also of certain things that maybe I don't think of too often, but have to remind myself because we're talking some serious shit when it comes to your body. You want to make your so-called golden, I hate that, golden years. It's not gold, let me tell you. But the fact that you're alive, rejoice. Rejoice. You can't take that for granted. You got a lot to live for. Even some people you might think they have no reason to live, just like, short people have no reason to live. You got a loved one. Maybe there's somebody out there that really gives a fuck about you. Maybe there's somebody out there that really cares about you. So you can't be selfish. You got to think about them too. Maybe somebody actually loves you out there. Imagine that somebody actually loves you. As much of a jerk as you might be, that somebody actually cares for you. You got to think of them besides yourself. You have to think about them. The best way I could put it. Don't be selfish. Because something happens to you is causing turmoil to the people that you love and all that. Good morning, my dear. Speaking of the devil, you hear the clanging of their hoofs. Yeah, I'm doing a live. Yeah. What's new about that? I don't think she's the happiest in the world that I'm doing lives, but she understands that the boredom factor out in the Philippines here is phenomenal. Oh God, Jim says it's phenomenal. It's phenomenal. Jim's Asian Adventures. It's phenomenal. Everything is phenomenal. Well, I don't think everything is phenomenal. If it's phenomenal, I'll say it's phenomenal. It's too easily spoken, that word, phenomenal. Okay, chicken short. Short people, Randy Newman, yeah. He died, didn't he, Randy Newman? That goes back a long time, brother. Short people, a lot of people got pissed off at that song. Oh, did they get pissed off at that song? Short people have no reason to live. They got squeaky eyes. I don't know the lyrics on that. But a lot of short people didn't like that song. They hated it. They absolutely hated it. Listen, I got to go to the danger zone where it's shady outside. That's right, I'm going to have a smoke. Is that okay with you? But I'm in a danger zone where I get disconnected. So I'll try to stay in one spot here. Short people have but let me tell you something. I don't mind being my height. By today's standards, yes, I am short. I can't help it. It's in the genes and not my Wranglers. It just is what it fucking is. Okay, I told you we have that glitch if I move somewhere. By the way, if you ever seen, I want you to look at this fence. This whole fence line, that is genuine passion fruit. In Hawaii, we call it lily koi. And you know what that is, right? And these things are so sweet, you believe it. And it's got to be mixed with something else. Let's see. People love it out here. Our whole fence line in the back. Yes, Viking, you're right. Short people, it goes with dogs too. Smaller breed dogs tend to live longer than, there's not much, there's a lot on here, but it's growing. She takes it off and we utilize it. But that's sugar too. And I tell her, same damn thing, But you got to understand, let me tell you something again. Filipinos, you could give them good advice and all that stuff, and they don't take it. Filipinos have bread with their coffee every morning. Pandesal or just straight white bread or something, right? Okay. So, I try to give good advice like I do on my show, right? But, they only listen so much. I mean, she will not take vitamins unless I actually put it on the table and say, here, take this. Take this. Oh, passion fruit is amazing. We had that growing in Hawaii, but we never paid much attention to it. And it forms these vines. Look all the way down. This is all passion fruit. She has relatives that, anytime someone's going to go back to Cebu or something, we have to give them a bag of this stuff. Some of the kids really love it. It's good stuff. And that's citrates right there. That's citrates.
Okay, where did I leave off? I was getting into something else. This is actually a grapevine, but I don't really see that happening on here. Oh, we do have oregano. I didn't know we had any oregano left. Jesus Christ, I thought we were done with all the oregano. We do have oregano growing here. There we go. All right, cool. Cool. And there's our little mobile here. Now, me and Gilda don't drive it. We don't drive the damn thing. We don't drive it. I actually bought it from one of the kids. It wasn't that much. It's about 75,000, and they use it. And it's not embarrassing. That's what they out here. That's what they use. It's more and more you're seeing these electric vehicles. Nothing fancy. Okay, I'm outside the bedroom window here in the Frankmobile. Although I said I never drive the damn thing. Meep meep. I know she'll come out the window when I beep this. Let me see. Can I beep it without turning it on? I don't even know where the fucking horn is on this damn thing. Meep meep. Okay, I'd have to turn it on. And you'll find more and more people using this. Yeah, so we have a few things growing over here. We have a few things growing. We have a number of papaya trees, and they don't always make it, but I don't even know where they're getting their nutrients, to be honest with you, really. Anyway, I hope you're enjoying the show so far. We've been on an hour and a half. I didn't intend to be on that long this morning, but Aloe came on and graced my show. Granville says he has a case against him in Hawaii for inappropriate. Oh, come on. Yeah. If you believe everything you hear on YouTube, we had some tenants on there that wanted to kind of get even with me. People like to do that because they knew I was selling the house. They figured they'd make a couple of bucks on this white boy. They were an African-American family, and they were known to be scammers. You know, they have a track record. So I'm not going to get into that again. Very inappropriate statement on my show here, so you're going to be gone. If you believe everything you hear on YouTube, then you're awfully gullible. People can't be nice. Nobody did anything inappropriate with a child in Hawaii. Nobody. All made up to get a paycheck. All made up to get a paycheck. But they got, as we say in Italian, gaberkachich. They got garbage. Gaberkachich. MLSO likes my live stream. We had a long one. Well, don't forget to subscribe if you haven't. If I'm on, I'm on. Make the best of it. The one thing I must say, if I had to do a comparative with my show and others, you're never really bored because my topic matter goes from one thing to another. Maybe it's my ADDH or whatever I have, which seems to be very common on YouTube. I don't know why, but it is. And I'll go from one topic to another, so you always have plenty to listen to. One show alone is like 25 other YouTubers with topic matters in one show that covers everything from soup to nuts. Because I like to utilize my time on here, and whatever comes in my mind, I talk about. I'm not afraid to talk about it, and I'm not, it's just whatever comes in my mind. If it's something worthwhile talking about, I'll talk about it. If it's something I could teach you, that's fine too, even if you're a troll. I don't discriminate on here as far as giving valuable information out. And I made it to 71. I'm doing something right in my life. And unfortunately, and even though some of these people with trolls, I don't wish death on anybody, really. I could get angry and say, fucking drop dead, you motherfucker, as far as I care. But you say things out of anger. But, the fact is, a lot of these people are not going to live to be my age. They're just not. I don't get into this moderator shit, That's ridiculous to begin with. Same people you give a wrench to are the ones that'll block certain people on here that you don't want to block. I've been through this before, We're going to give it a few more minutes here, okay, on here. And I guess there's a storm coming in. See, you get weather, you get health topics, philosophy. That's my show. Please record it. Please play it back. I don't care. Do a show about it on the Frank Battaglia replays. Give me some exposure, that's all. Nothing to hide. Stay on, sir. And people Missed having you here. Yeah, they have actually, as I found out. Yeah, it's amazing. Trolls especially, because they may act like they don't like me or something like that, but the fact is they can't live without me. When I was off here for 3 months, I don't even, as I said, I don't track a time, you know. There was nothing going on YouTube that was worthwhile because I used to listen in. I was that fly on the wall. And I was getting bored. I was getting bored as hell because I was listening to the same shit that the same person who run that channel has talked about numerous times before. They try to flower it up a little bit to be differently, but they're talking about the same shit. You know, the typical shit: the cost of living, finding a great woman, how to find a woman, you name it. It's the same shit on all the popular shows. They're all doing their little bait routines. Paul and all these people, and they have guests on that are begging for money, and people they fall for this shit. You know, they fall for this shit. So, Paul and people like that, they get all the accolades and all that stuff. Oh, you're such a good guy. You help so many people out. Well, I've helped a lot of people out, but I don't get these accolades, however you want to pronounce it. I don't. Viking says 71 plus years of true life experience speaks for itself. Well, it does. Is 2,000 USD enough to live in your area? It certainly is. I only make 1,500 on my Social Security. Oh, big deal. It's going up to about, what is it, 1,520 actually in January. Big deal. That and, a bus ticket ride, I don't know, it's not a lot. Inflation. Now, you know what's happening, right? You're getting the COLA, right? But they're raising up your premium on your Part B, on your Medicare. So give it with one hand, take it with the other. You can't win. I understand why people are leaving different countries, and especially the United States. It's gone to shit. And with Trump in office, man, it's really going to hell. I don't understand what they see in Trump. I honestly tell you, I don't understand why they're so gung-ho with Trump. I just don't understand it. He's an arrogant, cocky, self-centered narcissist. Times, the 10th fucking factor. I mean, I don't understand it. I don't understand it at all. But thank goodness he's getting higher in age. Maybe we'll get rid of him naturally if another sniper doesn't try to hit him like they did Charlie. Republicans stick together. That's the way it is. They all figure if you're a Republican, you're going to be rich. If you hang around with Republicans, you're going to make money. There's a whole big different psychology and philosophy behind people that are Republicans. It shouldn't even be two parties. The Americans should be working together. There shouldn't be a divided party system. Let's just put it that way. And I hate to get into politics. They should be working for the Americans. That is bipartisan. They should be all working for the same cause, not working against each other, because America is so divided right now. Yeah, 2.8%. That's not enough. Chicken choker. That's not enough to do anything at all. Nothing. And it's going to get worse, even for me, for anybody who's living out of the country. It's going to get worse. Inflation hits us all. You only make so much on your Social Security. And hopefully you got some backup money in the bank. That's all I can tell you. Okay, but, it's going to be hard. And for those that are seeking to live in the Philippines or Southeast Asia, and they're saying, well, I think I have enough that's going to cap me. But you don't calculate things, man. Do you have a woman? Did you get a wife? Did you have any children? A lot of these things you have to factor in. Let's see. You bank for your retirement. I would never rely on the government to support me. Yeah, well, all I get is my Social Security. But a lot of people think, Frank, you got tons of money stacked in the bank. No, I don't. No, I don't. Where did you get that idea? We do things for our survival. We do a little side things here and there to make a couple of bucks and stuff like that. But even for us, this inflation has certainly affected us. It certainly has. I said on my other show that I used to, when I was renting a house, I didn't own a house, we have to pay rent every month. It wasn't much, 13,000 or whatever. But still, we had to pay rent. And I was able to not only live off my Social Security, but have money left over. And it's not the same. We don't always have money left over for my Social Security, not at all. And sometimes we have to dip in a bank, or we have to just utilize our other talents we have and a little money making on the side, you know. Yeah. Oh, believe me, I had almost a wipeout, and somebody had, we trusted, and for a lot of money. It had nothing to do with land, nothing to do with fucking land. I don't know where these people come up with this shit, but my girlfriend has a case for big money, big money. Couldn't get her on the estafa because the interest that she owed was above doing estafa or something when he added the interest. I don't know what the deal was. So it had to be a civil case. So that's kind of an ongoing thing. But yeah, you get ripped. You know, you hear about people getting ripped off all the time. We got ripped off big time. Frank, you're thriving compared to some. I wouldn't call it thriving. I'm surviving. But it doesn't get any better. No, I'd never say anybody to I'm rich and wealthy and all that shit. I don't know where they came up with this shit. I had court costs and all that shit too. You think that didn't affect my bank account? Do you honestly think that didn't affect my bank account? Of course it did. I had to spend almost $500,000 on a fucking kidney stone venture. I mean, you think that didn't affect me? Of course it did. I'm not I don't have that kind of money coming in every month. Big time money where I'm not going to be affected by it. Of course, man. Here's a good size. Let me get bigger than this, though. Yeah, it's not ready to come off yet. So we got plenty of this growing. Okay, so pretty much, I think that's the show. No, I'm not rich. Am I healthy? I think I am. I made it to my age. But I will tell you, a lot of these vloggers on here, they can make fun of me or anybody else all they want, but the seriousness, look at the medicines they're taking and high blood pressure. And let me say the one thing that you don't want to get, hear me out, you don't want to get diabetes. Because diabetes affects all your organs, and it could eventually lead to a heart attack and other problems. It affects all your organs. So stop drinking that fucking Coke. Stop eating all the sugary foods. Stop fucking drinking, for God's sakes. That sugar is the biggest toxin that don't belong in your body. You could eat a little sugary things now and then. It's not going to affect you. But let me tell you something. You're better off not having sugar at all. Diabetes is the worst thing because it affects all your organs. You don't think it, yeah, but it does. Hey, go back to bed. I got to go anyway. Got to pay attention to my lady. Goodness sakes, I've been on this thing all morning. Good Lord, 1 hour and 42 minutes. Anybody that's recording me is having a field day. But good, record me, man, please. Help me out. Get me more viewers. There's nothing I said on my whole show this morning that could be used against me in a court of law or otherwise. So record away. Okay, be safe, everybody. Same coming from me. Monitor your health. You got a great woman, you know. You got a good life going for yourself. Let it continue. You know, there's nothing written in the cards really of how long you could live. You know, you can live well into your 80s. Hopefully that's the case for me, as long as I can take care of myself. That's my philosophy. I don't really want a caretaker in that sense, but I do have one if I need it. And that's why it's important to have a solid woman. It really is. I can't emphasize that more. I think it's, oh my God, the grapes are forming finally. I don't know if she saw this. We've got this tiny little grapevine here. Look at it, we got a little trellis here too. Ain't that cool? Look at that. Yeah, look at them. They're actually developing little green grapes here. Okay, I'm out of here, guys. I think that's the only show I'm going to do today. I'm kind of talked out, and I got to go figure a breakfast that I'm going to eat here. So, Aloe got off, so thanks, Aloe, for coming by. Chicken Choker and everybody else has been in here. Ooh, we had Aloe, we had Chicken Choker. Yeah, we had Viking Sun, MLSO. Who else was on here today? I'm just going through the list here. Mike K, thank you, Mike K, for showing up. We did have a troll. come on here. I got rid of real quick. Just want to acknowledge who came by this morning and decided to converse. I don't want to leave anybody out here. I think that's pretty good. Oh, Chris Travels. Chris Travels also was on here. And who else? I don't know if I'm missing anybody. I'm sorry. Okay, I'll catch you on my next show. What I'm going to try to do is kind of keep them short and kind of be more, which is really hard for me to try to be more topical instead of just going off in different directions. But that's the way my mind works anyway. Well, just a little short here. I neglected on my live show this morning to talk about the Tito or Tino, whatever the name of the storm is. And it's definitely going to hit the Visayas. In fact, the center might be actually in eastern Visayas, but it's definitely going to affect where I'm at a level 3 or 4 wind situation. So if you're living in the Visayas areas, or as they like to say on the area of responsibility, be aware. And if you're going to come into Cebu around that time, or want to go anywhere, take the ferry. More than likely, it's not going to be running. So just a little bit of heads up to my viewers. If you're planning on doing any travel, you may want to make alternative plans. This looked like it might become a humdinger with heavy rains and flooding and so forth. So be prepared for it. That's all I got to say on that. I neglected to talk about that on my live this morning. Okay, kind of had a reason to do another live show this morning. I was listening to Scotty Boy, regular guy. He's not a bad vlogger. Kind of a quirky dude, but he does put on some good material. Now, Scotty went to an area of Mandawi and showed how the poor live. Now, I've been there, done that. In fact, I know the area. I've been in that area. I've also been in Labangan in Tiza, in Cebu, when I used to hang around Joy. Let's walk around and talk. Wasn't going to do another live, but I got a little bit inspired by Scotty's show because I know how humbling it can be. And when I first came, and I've talked about this many times in the past, and how humbled I actually was for the first time in my life. I'll go outside here a minute, so I'm going to make a point. People don't know what poverty is until they actually live poverty. I suppose that, you could live in a decent house and you could all that, but it doesn't mean you're rich. I was fortunate to have a house in Hawaii that I sold and I made some money, and there's other savings I had, but, this is my house. And we're very fortunate, and we know we are. We're very, very, very fortunate. And we know we are. When I've seen the way, I got air conditioning, the whole fucking bit. And these people, as Scotty pointed out, and I've done tons of shows about this kind of stuff in the past, in the beginning, certainly, of my so-called YouTube career. Okay. And I have experienced firsthand, like Scotty did, on the horrendous situations, living conditions. And these people, they still smile. Sometimes you don't realize what you have. There'll always be a permanent roof above your head when you own a property. People say, oh, meet a Filipino. Don't go buying a house or nothing. It's probably the best thing in the world that you could actually do if the relationship is solid. That's the key words, if the relationship is solid. Okay? So, we're very fortunate. I consider myself very fortunate. I don't have to have a large bank account to be fortunate. It's a decent house, more than decent. And Scotty was showing on his show, like I've done this in the past myself. It's the first time I went to Lubango and I've seen how people were living. They were all squatters. And whoever owned the property could have them out any moment. Some of them have to pay a little bit of a rent. It's nice and shady here. I'll stay under this shade here. Some of them did have to pay a little rent or something. Some people were actually, cutting into the electricity. They were tying up to the electricity in the area, which was illegal, but they did just to run a fan or something. Some of them got away with it, someone didn't. But I seen the way they were living. And you know what? And like Scotty says, I'll quote him, is that these people, they're so happy. They're happy people. They're not complaining about their situation. They were born into it, and there's a difference. You're born into this stuff. I mean, nothing fancy. We got a little electric bike here. We bought it for the kids. So I got air conditioning. I've got internet. I've got a decent bed to sleep in. I got the privacy of my bedroom. So do the kids. They don't have this. Now, in Scotty's situation, and yeah, we're talking about Scotty, a regular guy, I guess. He pointed out, kind of like where I pointed out when I first came to the Philippines. I was hanging around with this chick, Joy, and she showed me where she was living. And I was like, maybe as I said, for the first time in my life, I was absolutely humbled beyond belief that people. I even got a generator here. These people don't have that stuff. They don't have that. I do. But it didn't come to me free. And a lot of people talk about, yeah, you're working the system. I'm not working anything. I did work jobs to be able to get a pension, period. 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 It's a nice house. It's not a bad house at all. And if you want to compare it to how the average Filipino is living out here, this is a palace. It's a goddamn fucking palace compared. But I'm not measuring oranges to apples. I'm just saying that sometimes you got to appreciate what you have. And you may not have as a farm. Living off algorithms, how sad. Has it really come down to this? So in other words, it doesn't matter what your content is and talk all the bullshit you want. Spread lies. Make up something just to feed the algorithms. And it seems that people are living on this. They're not worried about their health. They're not worried about their family. They're not worried about anything but their YouTube channel. But they're more worried about algorithms. Algorithms. Now you heard it right. Mike's Philippines retirement and his algorithms. This is a man who has some serious heart issues, and he didn't want to spend the money to go to a real heart doctor. A man who admits that he can't walk a certain distance without being out of breath, gets to the point of holding his chest, and he thinks that his heart is healthy. And maybe because that hat he wears is cutting off all the fucking oxygen getting in his brain or something. I don't really know. But Mike's Philippines retirement, I guarantee you, is total bullshit on everything he talks about on his channel. Sometimes I have to intervene and say a few things, And this guy is a stick of dynamite ready to go off, as pertains to many other people with their attitude and content on here that think they can get away with just about everything. I know one person that didn't get away with something. I know that for sure. He's paying the price right now, so people assume they can get away with just about anything on YouTube, but that's not true. They can't get away with everything. If you ever seen Mike's response to comments on his show, he gets absolutely belligerent. Kind of fuck you attitude and all that stuff. So you can't tell Mike anything because Mike knows it all. So is it true that his woman left him? You never see her on camera anymore. Not even in the background doing dishes or something. He won't admit that. But when it gets to the point where YouTube becomes your life, that it's not part of your life or a fraction of your life or a hobby or activity, that's when you're really not living the good life at all. I mean, it doesn't mean you have to go on a vacation somewhere, but when do you ever see Mike going anywhere, really? Not to say that I go a lot of places, but I've totally told you my circumstance. But Mike sits there with his fucking, I don't know, his football, baseball, whatever the hell team's shirt hanging on the wall, wearing sports caps or a sport type shirt, depicting a certain team of his choice. Wears a hat all the time. Probably why he's bald. Your head also needs oxygen. You can't wear a hat all the time. But I bet you didn't know that either. But Mike's Philippines retirement, that's the definition of a fucking loser. I don't think he's got much money. And he thinks he's got a bunch of friends out there, but you have to define friendship on YouTube. They are not your friends. You may attend some events, but they're all talking about you behind your back, every single one of them. They're not your friends on here. Why do you think I got off for 3-4 months? I mean, seriously. It's a waste of my time then. It's still a waste of my time now. But you know what? It is fun sometimes listening to these fools. And it's kind of like what you call an I told you so situation, either by health or legal issues or whatever it might be. And they don't listen. But that's okay. Like an old roommate of mine who was kind of obnoxious, he said, hire the handicapped. They're fun to watch. Hello, Len. Hire the handicapped. They're fun to watch. And Mike, Philippines retirement, he's a handicap, mentally, if not just physically. No, he's got a heart shit going on. He does. There's no question about it. From all the information he shared on his show, he ain't going to be around much longer. But, it's one of these I told you so situations. Happened to many people. Happened to Fazio. Happened to a lot of people. You know the list of who passed away. And there's others that are actually sick, if not dead. And they're on their way. You see the amount of pills they display on their show. You're having problems, brother. If you have to take that many pills. A lot of people do. But, sometimes you got to spend the money to go to a good specialist because you're trying to appease yourself. Like you say, oh, well, this doctor doesn't think, from the test, my heart ain't that bad. Well, the fact that you can barely breathe when you walk a certain distance, hello, is anybody home? That says a whole lot about your whole physicality. Think about it. And look, don't bother me because these people don't mean anything to me. Seriously, I don't wish death on anybody, but if you're that stupid and you don't maintain yourself, and I don't care if you drink, smoke, whatever, are you doing any maintenance for your body at all? Other than maybe some bad things you're doing for your body? Are you health conscious in any other way? Other than the bad things perhaps you do, like sit around all the time on your ass and make bullshit shows that are just repetitious, redundant, because you're worried about the algorithms. Fuck the algorithms. That's your life? You're being a slave to the algorithms? Oh, I gotta watch my algorithms because it's gonna make a difference on my sponsors or the advertisers on my page. Are you for real? Are you people fucking for real? Has it gotten that bad for you? Those that are monetized? Are you that fucking broke as a skoke that you really, really have to depend on your monetization to get along in life? What if it disappeared? What are you going to do? What are you going to do? What other platform are you going to try out to make money on and start all over again? A lot of people out there, and I can name names, but you know who they are. They're not taking care of their health in any formal way. Either you're just too stagnant, you're sitting in a chair doing fucking videos talking about a bunch of bullshit that don't make any sense, has been talked about 300,000 times before, but you don't want to upset your algorithms. God forbid you upset your algorithms. God forbid. Amazing. And as the other Jim says, phenomenal that people think this way. I don't give a shit. I don't need to worry about algorithms. I'm not even fucking monetized. And I said the word fucking. I don't care. I go on here, put a show on, and I speak my mind and say what I think. I'm not worried. I'm not a slave to algorithms. Here's the deal. A lot of these people that you think are financially in good shape, they're not. They're not. I'm not going to say I've got millions and millions and millions and millions of pesos because I don't. I'm not even monetized on my show, and I still do shows because it don't bother me. I don't need monetization. I don't have to get monetized to speak my mind and put my show on. I think that's what a lot of people like me for, because they know money has nothing to do with the equation, whether I put a upload or a live stream on. Money has no equation to this at all. That's what separates me with most people on here, yeah. Len says most YouTube monetized channels takes a few months to get the 100 US payment. Yeah, you got to make at least $100 American to get your payment. And some people just feel it's just not worth it. You got to have a special channel to really make a lot of money. I mean, you really have to have a special channel. It's not for everyone. I can name channels that are really good, like 8 Miles from Home, and that guy's racking it up. He's got the family thing going with the intelligent British little daughter, and a new baby. Got the wife from Britain. They're both from Britain. They got all the elements together. They live in a Surigao. They went through some storms they documented. It's like a very, very family-oriented show. He's got the sponsors galore. He gets free, expensive items from the sponsors. That's a good show. That's somebody who has made it, and legitimately. God, even I get jealous of him. I said, damn, now I'm jealous. I wish I could make his money on the side. But they earn it. And they don't talk about a bunch of dishonest shit. Now, there's other shows out there that are honest and are good shows. What's this other show? It's worthwhile mentioning it. If I come up with the name, I'll give him a plug. He's a real good guy. He's an ex-veteran, and he's living in the Philippines. Kind of telling it like it is. If I think of the name, I don't watch it that often, so I don't remember the name. I'd have to go to my list, but if I remember the name, I'll get back to you and I'll mention. I'm willing to plug certain people on here, stand behind them, but and even root them on and make money. There's nothing wrong with making money on YouTube. It's just how you do it. Can you at least be honest and stop being so goddamn redundant? I mean, I do a bit of redundancy when it matters. Rehashing some old shit, if it's going to be related to something current going on, I will rehash it. That's the difference between me and these others. Okay? Because I've always got some topic or something to say on here, but I will make it as relevant as it can for, the current time and what's going on YouTube. And these people are all phony balonies on there. Jim, is making the biggest fool of himself, and we're all enjoying it. It was like Barry, when Barry was making a fool of himself all the time. We loved the entertainment, and Fazio making a total fool of himself. We loved them for the entertainment factor. We just adored them for that. Of course, they were all full of shit, and they were very vile and very aggressive, but we enjoyed it to a certain point, Well, I used to have a lot more than that. I got off YouTube, Well, it's the way it is. You got to start somewhere, Yeah. The Phoenix is rising. Yeah, I'll take subs. For what? I don't know. I just, sure, I want people to listen to me. But can you imagine, like, when you have a show and you got that good, or whatever you did to get there, that when you go do a live, that you could have over 1,000 people watching you? Think about it. Look at an audience with over 1,000 people or 2,000 people. That's like a fucking concert. A rock star concert or something in some kind of venue somewhere, You've got all these people listening to you. That's where the subs are important. That there's more people listening to you and sucking in what you have to say. And they could, tear it apart, whatever they want to do with it. But having a broader audience to get your word out is important. But see, the thing is, money is the denominator of just everything on here. So a lot of these people are very dependent. Look at old dog, Paul. He's very dependent on the donations and the AdSense and all that shit that he gets. Paul was only making a specific retirement amount. It wasn't really a lot. But, you know, everybody utilizes a little bit of magic, a little bit of deceit. Started putting his girlfriend on to get more people. You know how it works on here. Started interviewing people to get people interested. And then some people would ride on his coattails and they'd go to their channel. Just like when Tim K was very active. You know, his wife Chrissy would have her own show and she'd get a shitload of subs and she was making money too. So that's how they do it on here. Hey, I'm just saying, if you could do it, more power to you. I don't have a problem with that. None. It's how you do it. Stop the clickbait. That's irritating. They're going to say something on there to get their audience to come, like here. Videos of naked women. You're going to get every desperado, every limp dick motherfucker out there that's going to come to your channel. But it has a reverse effect because they're going to get pissed off at you because you had a title on there that attracted them to come to your show. But although some people are disappointed, they still may stick around, see what the guy has to say, if there's anything of interest. So they'll probably regain or gain a subscriber. That's how it works on here. I know the art and science of this all. Clickbait is number one. Bullshit is number two. And it's all bullshit anyway. So any way you could get viewers, make a total fool of yourself, bang a pot on your head, attack every goddamn YouTuber out there on your show, go as far as making out with a lady boy on camera, whatever it takes. They do it, and they have done it. And as Popeye would say, Popeye, the cartoon character, that is, it's embarrassing. It's embarrassing. It really is embarrassing. Yeah. Clickbait thumbnail to get views. Yeah, I don't even think I entitled my video here, to tell you the truth, did I? Sometimes I don't even have a title on here. I'm not worried about if they can't come to my channel and appreciate what I have to say, then don't come to my channel. It doesn't bother me. There's no money to be made on here. I'm not even sure I'll ever go back to doing a monetization on here because it wouldn't be worthwhile unless I had enough subs and viewers, mostly viewers to the show, to make it worthwhile. Everybody needs a little bit more money. I do. You do. We all do. You know, I scream, you scream, we all scream for ice cream, okay? Everybody does. I wouldn't mind making more, but I'm not worried about it. My life does not depend, as some of these people, on monetization on a YouTube channel. Thank goodness for small miracles. I've never depended on monetization. I was monetized once. That didn't go nowhere. The most I made in 1 month was an amazing $200. You know, I wasn't making shit on my show. So if you want to listen to somebody that gives it out straight and doesn't give a fuck what anybody thinks, I've been in the attack for 10 years on YouTube. It never stopped me, except for this past 3 months. I said, fuck, I hung it up and I did that, and it doesn't faze me. I got channels devoted to me, replays of everything I put out. Just in case somebody missed something, I have channels that actually talk about me that are labeled with my name, replays. Amazing to reach that status, but not being wealthy from my shows and not making money from my shows. Having that kind of recognition, albeit not good recognition, because you get under the attack a lot. It's not a good thing. But it's according to how, thin-skinned that you are. I figured if I could deal with this for 10 years, somewhere around there, I don't know, I was doing pretty damn good. A lot of people gave up and they just went away. Hey, I gave up. I just decided, got a wild hair, and I got back on again for a little bit, and I don't know how much longer. But if you want to listen to a real show, if you want to listen to the truth and learn something, whether it's about health, about, let's see, what plagues the world is loneliness, if you want to hear about the truth about anything from sex to relationships in the Philippines, the real truth, what's really going on, not candy coated just to get people to come to your show. We're not going to put women on here to attract you. We're not going to bait you with a title on my show. It's just the clear facts, as the title, as the name of my show is actually The Truth Philippines. But it's not Philippines, it's the Philippines and the world. But since I live in the Philippines, you want honest answers. You want to get truthful information about this or about that. You listen to my show, because I don't hold anything back. Everything from sex, what men don't understand what a woman wants, or why guys gotta fucking jerk themselves off because the woman's pussy is not tight enough, but because the fact is that he's used to the firm grip on his fucking hand. So all these wankers out there that have their problem with their woman and they can't ejaculate into her, see, this is an example of my show, it's because you're too busy wanking. And your dick is used to the pressure of your own strong hand. And that's why you cannot achieve orgasm when having intercourse with a woman. Who talks about that? I do. They don't talk about it because they're a bunch of wankers. They're lucky if they even have sex, if they had a woman in 35 years or something. I'm not afraid to talk about it. And I'm talking about it right now as one example. Share my channel, share it around. Let's get the numbers up. Let's give these guys a little competition out there. Spread the good word. Yes, I do get on camera, not 100% all the time. I do get on camera. So if you've seen a blank screen, it's because I choose to. I'm not an arrogant type of guy in that sense. I'm on a TV show or something. I do get on camera. I was on camera yesterday, today, and yesterday before. But I do get on camera. A lot of people don't like it when you don't. I understand that. Question and answer and food you will never. How did these things show up on here? Okay, that's what I have to say. I've done several videos today already. Oh, I'm also very spontaneous. Somebody, what does he do with his life on YouTube? Well, if I'm home and I'm not doing anything at the moment, I'm not watching a movie, and I'm not spending quality time with my girlfriend, and I got time on my hands, I don't really have any hobbies other than working out a little bit, I'll decide to do something on YouTube. Got a problem with that? I don't care if you do or not. When and if I have something to say, I'll come on here. It doesn't have a limit to when or how often. It could be the middle of the day instead of the morning. If I got something to say, I'm a very spontaneous person. Impulsive, actually, is the word. Very impulsive. Something on my mind, I'll put it on here. I've always been a very active channel. Fearless, Chris Travel says. Fearless. Oh, we all have fear, Chris. Every single one of us. I got different fears, too. We all have fears in our life. But the difference is you have to face your fears. I don't care what it is. Face your fears. Is it health? Whatever it might be. Legal things. You face your fears. You deal with it. You don't run away from it. Yeah. That's all I'm trying to say here. Okay. Let me tell you one thing. I will tell you. I don't know where you live in the Philippines. Anybody who's in the Philippines. It's hot today, man. And really humid. We have a system coming in here. It looks like it's definitely going to make it to the Visayas where I live. And if anything, it's going to really have some heavy downpours. And it might be some pretty good wind. So we're keeping abreast of what's going on with that situation. How much could we really prepare for it, But it seems to be a pretty strong system that's coming in, typhoon strength. So it will make its way. Now we talked about 8 miles from home. He lives in Siargao. He's been through this before. He's got his wife He's got his newborn baby, and he's got his young girl, young child, and they kind of been through this before. But this guy's all set up. The money he makes on his show is, as Jim would say, phenomenal. He makes good money. And you gotta give somebody credit when it's due. Don't be jealous necessarily of these people making money. I get a little bit of jealous sometimes, but I don't make a big issue of it. I'll just congratulate him and say, man, you got the right formula, man. If I could start all over again and nobody ever knew me from jack shit, I would. But most people do know me. Unfortunately, they hear a lot of negative things about me, which are not true, of course, but this is YouTube. What do you expect? There is a lot of jealousy out there with how good you look for your age, how how eloquently spoken that you are, the fact that you don't have to make up bullshit topic matter, that you got this spontaneity, that you got the ability to ad lib and could do a show based on absolutely no preparation, no cheat sheets, no teleprompter, nothing like that. No notes on a paper. I've always had that capability and still do. And that's why if anybody watches me at all and they're willing to admit, they'll find out that that's all true. Anyway, I'm not going to be on here long. I'll give it a couple of more minutes and I'll get out of here. I may have to do some shots. It is really hot out there. I was supposed to go to that All Souls thing last night. Would have been more exciting. Mostly they had kids and that dressed up for Halloween. But there's some places in the Philippines they go way out. All the adults they stage this big thing in the streets with the most elaborate costumes and some really spooky stuff. But if anything, it's just going to be the vendors. The vendors will be out. We may go down that way. My girlfriend already was at Mass and stopped by to light some candles. For me, for my brother who passed away, for my mother and father who passed away. That's nice of her to do. I'm not really religious, but I respect her beliefs. I may question it. For example, she took 4 volatile candles and she placed it outside the house here. And maybe I could show you that. And this is part of a culture. If the candles are still going, I'll show you that in a second or so as I get up here. And it's part of a very intense and practiced religious belief for the loved ones. And they do that even in Hawaii, where I lived. They send things out afloat on the ocean, candles surrounded by, I think, rice paper. They even send them up in the air, too, with the gas from the flame, sends up the rice paper, and it all floats. They all float. Here, I'm going to show you, right here. I'm going to show you right here. Where is it? If I can get the camera focused here. Come on, Frankie. Here we go. There we go. Right there. Of course, they're all melting away. This is just the ground over here, the concrete, and this is over the plant area. And she's got 1, 2, 3, 4. She had about 5 or 6 candles burning here. Tradition, culture. Now, it may not be your gig. It may not be my gig. But you have to still respect the culture. Yeah, we're going to think about some branches around here we're going to need to attend to. If it's going to get really windy around here, then that is a concern because we've got internet wires and electrical wires and stuff. And that could be a problem because things go down real easy around here. Thank goodness I got my clunky generator. It takes a bit to get the bastard started, but nevertheless, you're doing more candles in here? Really? Don't worry, your face ain't on here. Okay. She's going to light more candles. This is culture. This is the shit you need to talk about on here. If you're going to live out here, you may not agree with all the culture, as I will constantly say, but you have to respect some aspect of the culture. Now, why be out here? Because you're not just here, for example, just for your woman or to save a few bucks from, living in the United States, where it's an awfully expensive place to live. But if you're going to be living in a foreign land, you have to respect the people. You have to respect the cultures and traditions out here. That's just the way it is, or don't come. I do my best to do all of that. Even on YouTube, I try to do my best to respect people, but sometimes you just can't bring yourself to respect everybody because some people don't deserve that respect. But it's funny how people just bring themselves downhill. They'll repeatedly do things on YouTube on the channel that pisses a lot of people off. And here's the thing you got to think about. Don't think that some people just give you a response because you're trying to get attention. That's why you're doing it. But you want to get the response that you're looking for. Okay? But here's the thing. Not everybody is just going to verbalize something on YouTube. If they got enough information about you, where you live, and every goddamn thing else about you, you got to worry, Jack. Because you have to question people's psychology. Because you got to be a little nuts to come on YouTube. We're all nuts. But the degree, the difference of how nutty you are compared to others, that's the thing. That's the thing you worry about. You hear it all the time. Go Google something and ask it. How many people have been, and I hate this word, unlived. And that's a word I can't stand. Where did it come from? Why don't you say died? But our new generation is using the word, she unlived herself. Like, what the fuck? She unlived herself? Just say that she died. Or she killed herself. Unlived? I don't think that's even in a dictionary. It's these words come up from nowhere. There's a lot of terms and phrases I've never heard of in my life. But they come about. People make it up. People pick it up. That's how it starts. It has to start from somewhere. But buyer beware. Watch what you're trying to buy out on YouTube. You piss people off long enough, you wind up in jail or worse. And believe me, I know. Somebody's sitting in jail for almost 3 years now because they did me wrong. It's something I couldn't forgive and let pass. Not after 3 years or more, 4 years of being attacked by the goober. You don't call somebody a fucking pedophile and get away with it. Not if you can help it. Because if you're not a pedophile and somebody calls you that, what if you had a job? You got a family, friends. You know how things get out on social media. Somebody spreads the word you're a pedophile or something when you're not. You could lose your job. Your neighbors will be suspicious of you. It causes such mayhem that you can't let the person get away with that. You just can't. If it's been repetitive, once or twice is bad enough, maybe you could let it go. But when you spent maybe 4 years on YouTube calling a particular person a pedophile, and basically calling everybody else a pedophile because you didn't like him because you just wanted to find a word that's going to get a reaction. Wrong, buddy. That's why this guy's still sitting in jail and enjoying the ambiance of a fucking prison. Now, Jim's Asian Adventures was calling Ricky publicly a pedophile numerous times. If Ricky wanted to do something, he could because he said it on camera. And hopefully Ricky has. Not that I'm sticking up for Ricky. Ricky was behind a lot of shit that was very adverse to me. But I'm just saying, if Ricky was smart with this guy, you know, you got the video, Ricky? Show us the smoke. Show us your smoke. Show us your smoke. Never mind words, Ricky. Show us your smoke. As Gomez Adams on the Adams Family, when he ran that campaign for mayor, there's a picture of him on there, crazy looking, with a caption that says, "Watch my smoke." Always like that. I've mentioned it actually several times since I've been on YouTube, actually. Show us your smoke, Ricky. Come on, you were defiant enough to go behind me when I tried to help you out with a lot of shit, right? When you needed that affidavit, right? We helped you out. Then you turned on me. That's just the way it is on YouTube. But if you really want to get even with Jim, make sure that he never does come back to the Philippines.
He's already committed adultery by his own spouse, recording his adultery, because Jim likes to put his young girl there, whatever age she is. You decide. She don't even look legal age, as far as I'm concerned. That's my opinion. He's already broke the law. Not just the fact that Jim's Asian Adventures also got a court system against him out there, because he didn't show up for court when he's supposed to. It had to do with an incident that happened where he got into it with some neighbors and a bottle was thrown or something. His kid got hurt, but then he went after them and they went after him, and he's trying to show his bravery. I'm going to kick everybody's ass. Everybody on here is going to kick everybody's ass. That's all you hear. I'm going to kick your ass. All the keyboard fucking warriors out here. I'm going to kick your ass. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. Well, you know what? I'm one of the few people on here that took action with one particular person. You don't hear it a lot. Other people doing this. I'm no keyboard warrior. If I put my mind to something, chances are, though you wear that silly grin, the moment you come into view, if I say I'm going to do something, I'm generally going to do it. And I've proven that time and time over. Let's see. Jim's downward spiral. That's exactly what it is. It's a downward spiral that we're getting to witness. All the clowns on display. I mean, you got this future. You hope to have a future, right? You know, you're reaching your retirement age, whatever. Never mind coming on there showing your wrinkled muscles. Taking fucking steroids for 20 fucking years. Gnarly looking. Just, you know, he's got the weirdest looking biceps you ever seen. They look like they're split in two. Not one on top of the other, but just gnarly looking. And what is the guy trying to prove? Oh, yeah, I taught boxing. I was an instructor. Yeah. You boxed somebody at the grocery store. You were a boxer. Of course, he's also got a degree in nutrition. Okay, if you say so. Chris says he needs a facelift, not steroids. I tell you what, I'm like, what am I, 15, 20 years older than this guy? I don't know. And this guy looks older than me. You know, the steroids are going to tear you apart. And if he's been taking testosterone, too much of that also is not good either. Yes, you're going to lose testosterone as you get older. You're going to lose most of it, actually. Unless you really want to go on testosterone replacement, it has to be under the guidance of a doctor, because or somebody knows what he's doing, because that could affect your heart, too. Yeah, Mickey Rourke, movie, The Boxer. Yeah, he thinks he's Mickey Rourke. This is a guy who lives at his parents' place, which is a very nice place. What is it, Ohio? I forgot where the fuck he is. But it's a nice place. That he tries to claim that it's everybody's hiding something on here. Why can't people just be truthful? Show how they're really living. Be honest. No, it's not my house, it's my mother's. Now, I can't say for sure, but if you want to believe rumors, that's what gets people into trouble on here. That his mother, and they have money, whatever, the family, supporting his ass. Maybe they're willing to support him to get the fuck out of the country, to get him away from the house because he's so arrogant and obnoxious that they'd sooner give him a credit card and say, okay, you know, use it, but don't abuse it. Here's a credit card. Go travel around, do what you're going to do, settle down, find a country. Just get the fuck out of our house. That's what they're saying. That's what they're doing. People got to try to hide the fact that they're such a fuck up. I can do this better than you. Oh, yeah, catch me on the street. You talk to me like that. I could hold my camera in my hand, he says, and give you one punch with the other arm, and you're out. I don't care how big you are, he says. And this was making a referral to Ricky. I don't know who would win a fight between those two, to tell you the truth. I don't think Jim is in that great shape. Ricky? I don't think he'd last long as far as endurance, but I think Ricky could probably put out if he really had to. He's a big guy. Of course, I've met Ricky numerous times. I could tell you. Is he overweight? Yeah, he's very overweight. Not very healthy.
considering how many medicines he's taken, he's got a lot of problems going on. Just like Mike's Asian, whatever his name, Mike's Philippines adventure. He's not in good shape. And actually, take a doctor's advice, but go to a specialist. When it comes to do with your heart, don't go to some 2-penny outfit. You just want to hear what you want to hear. But he's already got the hint. He didn't need a doctor to do that. If you're out of breath upon some mild exertion, you've either got a lung problem or you got a heart problem, Jack. If you can't figure that out, I don't know what to say. Because you got to be awfully stupid. King of Discord. Hi, Frank. But Jim said he trained UFC with former champion Randy Couture. Oh, really? I'm very up on the UFC. Watch it all the time. Unfortunately, I watched older bouts because I don't ever get anything live. Yeah. These are hopeless losers. Jim is a hopeless loser. They want to glorify themselves somehow. Hey, let me get this 16-year-old girl to hang around with. Let me make my wife Dexel in the Philippines jealous. Oh, I already got the divorce papers. First he said he's divorced. Now he's saying that he's got the papers. Which is it, Jim? You can't believe hardly anybody on here. Jim is a fuck-up at his age, and the only thing he looks forward to is working out in the gym. He's the kind of guy that stands in front of a mirror and admires his muscles. He's one of those groups. Maybe the guy is, I don't know, AC/DC or something, whatever. I don't know. Who knows? But men that stand in front of mirrors admiring themselves like that, there's something to say about that. Makes you wonder. Really makes you wonder. That's all he's got in his life. In fact, he stated, when I live somewhere, there's got to be a gym nearby. His whole life depends on having a gym. I guess it gives him something to do. And, brawn is not going to replace brains. That you got to understand. You may have muscle, but if you're dumb as a rock, what good is your muscles? Yeah. Look at Lou Ferrigno. He has some deafness problem. So he sounds funny, so people assume that he's not very educated, but actually he is. Lou Ferrigno's a very smart man. He has smarts, and he has nothing to hide with some of his deafness. Hey, I'm pretty much half deaf in one ear. Okay. I'm not making myself something special because you could almost say I'm partially deaf. You could, actually, because I sort of am. I mean, I have a little bit of hearing in that one ear, the one that's affecting me, but it's terrible. How many times I have to say what, or have people repeat themselves if they're talking very low. Yeah, I have a disability. It's not even what my disability when I was on it was even based on. That could have been a disability in itself. But I forged through this, marched on through it, and I lived my life despite having that. And it is a disability. It absolutely is. There may be certain jobs that you need to have good hearing. You got to be able to hear directions clearly, concisely. And I could go on and on. But there are certain types of disabilities that people have that prevent them from doing certain things. It doesn't mean you're dumb. And the one thing I've always found very interesting is that guys go to a foreign country and maybe these people don't speak a lot of English. So they figure, listen to the intelligence with this, They think if they speak louder, that this foreign person's going to understand your English. You see that all the time. If you speak louder, they'll understand you. There's one cute thing that I do, actually. I do not try to make believe I'm Filipino at all. But sometimes when I'm around Filipinos, I can put on, I don't even realize I'm doing it, I kind of put on a little bit of a Filipino accent, figuring that maybe they understand. Sometimes they do, actually. That works. If you can't totally speak the language, I already know vocabulary, as far as Visayan and so forth, very limited. I couldn't make a whole big conversation in a language. No, I couldn't do that. But I also don't speak extra loud around somebody thinking that they're going to understand what I say because I'm speaking louder. It makes no sense at all. And also, sometimes it does make sense to put on a little bit of an accent. They can actually understand you better. It'll probably work for you a lot better than trying to speak loud to somebody. It probably makes a little bit more sense. And sometimes I'll do that. And it don't matter what ethnicity I'm around. I've done that all my life, really. But I never tried to be something I wasn't. I would never pretend to be local. Even when I lived in Hawaii among the locals around there, I didn't speak all the pigeon talk and all that stuff that they talk. Look it up what it is, what I mean by that. I think it's Pigin. It's just a way of talking that, in a way, almost sounds like another language. It's just a different kind of a dialect when you're speaking and the words you use. I didn't try to be local. I just kept on being myself. I didn't try to put on a pigeon. Very rare that I even say brah on my channel. Hey, what's up, brah? Because that's not how I talk normally. In the United States, you might hear the word bro. Hey, bro, what's up? In Hawaii, it's like brah, B-R-A-H. I never talked that way in Hawaii. Very rare that I ever did anything like that. It's one thing to mingle with the locals, but don't pretend. I've seen people come to Hawaii and they wanted to fit in. The same thing as people coming to the Philippines. They wanted to fit in. And as a good example in Hawaii is that they would try to take on the local pigeon talk. And they just made a fool out of themselves because, you're just a fucking haole is all you are from the mainland. And they're laughing at you because you're trying to fit in so hard. So hard. And you start trying to talk pigeon and you really fuck up. I mean, I never used the expression, except on here playing around, broke them out. You probably don't know what that means, why Hawaiians talk that way, or the locals in Hawaii talk that way. Broke them out means it's really good. If it's pertaining to food, it means, man, I just ate something that broke the mouth. It was that good. Or they can make another reference to that on broke the mouth being, something happened was like awesome. It broke the mouth, brah. It broke the mouth. But I didn't go around in Hawaii talking that way. I kept it as real as I can, who I was. Be yourself. Don't try to be somebody else and pretend to be somebody else. That's what I could say to that. I think people will respect you a lot better. I mean, a lot of people that move here to the Philippines, they try to impress Filipinos by trying to speak the language, but they do a really bad job of it. You're better off just speaking English. They understand English for the most part. And a lot of them are kind of shy. They don't talk back a lot of English because, we have another expression out here in the Philippines where it's called, what is that? Bleeding nose. What is that? Get a nosebleed, right? How do they say that, Gilda, again?
What?
You get a nosebleed out here? Or how is that, this terminology?
Nosebleed.
Well, when somebody, doesn't want to speak English, it's called, that may not be the right terminology.
Nosebleed, yeah.
All right, nosebleed, okay. Right, it's called, but not really bleeding in their nose. It's just an expression. Like broke them out in Hawaii. So, they know English. They may pretend, some of them, not to know, but the problem is they don't speak good fluent English. It's just like us trying to find the right word in Visayan or Tagalog or something. You're trying to find the right word and you're having a hard time finding the word, So you just talk English. Otherwise, you just make a fool of yourself. Don't try to impress people. But it is respectful to learn some other language out here. It is very respectful. They appreciate you a lot more when you can speak a little bit of the language. You get a lot of respect that you respect the culture enough to try to learn the language. Because remember, this country, it's not your country, it's theirs. Their language is their language. English is not their first language. As such, we try to show respect, even if it's just a couple of words here and there. Even a little bit of salamat. Whatever, they'll appreciate anything. It just shows respect. If you want to say you're very welcome, you might say, I even forgot it already. Again, I forgot it. What was it? Walong? I forgot it already. When you're saying you're very welcome, it's Walong.
Walang sapayan.
Walong Sapayan. I knew that one real well, but I had a blonde spot on that one. Walang Sapayan. Meaning you're very welcome. Certain phrases you could learn and you could just, go with that. And they'll respect you even for that. You don't have to speak the whole language. It shows that you're trying. And that shows respect. Anyway, I got to get off here. I feel like making love, do-do, making love to you. Not you guys. My life does not revolve around YouTube. It's just part of my life. I'm in love with you, do, and I want to make it last. Anyway, I do got to go. No matter what I'm doing here, I got to go. Lots to do. People to see, places to go. I'm out of here, man. Hey, just don't deal with these creeps on here. Don't give them the satisfaction. That's all. Don't build them up. Because they're destroying themselves. They're cutting themselves down. And they never last. None of them do. They either drop dead from their bad lifestyle, or somebody kills them or beats the shit out of them. They eventually learn, or they go to jail. They eventually learn one way or the other. As my good friend Deborah Harry said and sung, one way or another, I'm going to get you. I'm going to get you. Yeah. It happens. It truly does. With that being said,
the life was quiet all around. Cute little island, nice and non-violent. But everything turned upside down when a new guy came to town. We got along, he showed me ways to craft and test things that cut intestines. Said we could party